Today is Wednesday, October the 16th, and we had an imbalanced day where you see that the NYSE stocks traded on the New York Stock Exchange were pretty flat, 1.1 to 1, but negative side by 10%. But on the NASDAQ, they were up by 3%, so it was a pretty even day. But when you see one red and one green, that translates into choppy trading results. And look at that. Did we have choppy trading results or what? So we opened the day right here at 9:30, a little bit off the Globex low, pushed up a little bit, came back, and we touched the Globex low exactly. Remember, the Globex low is the overnight low in the futures because they trade 24 hours a day right around the world. We never hit the Globex high, and we just had this chop, finishing the day just slightly down from the prior day. So if you look at the Dow, pretty flat, NASDAQ, a little down, S&P, a little down. Volumes were on the Dow particularly low, on the NASDAQ, what we would expect, and on the S&P 500, what we've been seeing for some time. But that's going with our advancers and decliners on the bigger number. This is all of the stocks that FinViz tracks. They were flat. So that's going to leave our stock market breadth chopping right in this area here, where now this is the fourth day where we spent pretty much neutral, but just a little bit above neutral. So what does that mean for the stocks? Well, the S&P was down 6, and we were looking for price to be flat, to run flat in a channel, and then at some point come down and fill this gap and look for support on the cloud. Now, Netflix and IBM just had good earnings, so I haven't looked at their aftermarket prices, but Netflix is going to really pop up. IBM's earnings were pretty much in line. I believe they were within a cent of what the market estimated. If we look at the Chiku span now for the S&P 500, way above the cloud support, but it's going to have a problem tomorrow. If the price doesn't climb to over 3,000, or at least hit 3,000, then that's going to mean that the Chiku span is going to finish somewhere in this candle or lower, and then fall under these candles when it comes out on Friday. So that's what we're going to be looking for tomorrow. We're going to be watching the action of the Chiku span. Where are we going tomorrow? I don't know where we're going tomorrow, but in the short term, we are looking for cloud support and filling this gap. Apple down 0.26%, in line with the market. Finished the day, finished the day on a positive note, on an up note. So that's a really good thing, but you can see that through the day, it stayed within the trading range of the first 15 minutes. That's this green area here. So this is the low in the first 15 minutes. It actually occurred the first 5 minutes. And then in the last 5 minutes of that 15 minutes, it made its high. And it just traded within that area for the day. Volume on the day was, I bet you it was anemic. Yes, it was anemic, very low. So that's 3 days of low volume. We are now coming back to test the all-time high the all-time high, we've created a new all-time high, but the previous all-time high, we've come back and we've tested that and we bounced off it. Apple is still moving up. Its earnings are coming next week, I believe Monday or Tuesday, but let's just take a look. When is earnings? Earnings is coming on the 30th, so not next week, but the week after. Caterpillar, slightly down. The Chiku span, what can that tell us? The Chiku span, it finished right on the 200. If we could bring the Chiku span and bring it forward, which I can, but I'm not going to do it now, you'll see that the Chiku span, which is right here, so that point 26 days behind is where? exactly on the 200 exponential moving average. So we said we were watching the Chiku span with this marker right here, and indeed the Chiku span was important. So look for that to be probably support, and we probably should have an update tomorrow in Caterpillar. Of course, if the market decides it's going to be up, Caterpillar is not going to move upwards unless the market moves upwards. GDX had a nice up day on news of a weaker dollar, a stronger British pound, I think they said, and a stronger Japanese yen means for a lower dollar. AT&T, I doubled my holdings in AT&T. I bought my second tranche of 500 shares, so I'm probably going to stick with that. 1,000 shares at a 5.5% dividend. I like it. This was a doji day, indecision day. Let's look at volume. Volume was also pretty anemic. Whirlpool up another $1. That's a pretty strong stock. Amazon, we said we were going to look at this confluence here of averages, which is going to provide an area of resistance, and once it gets through that, it runs into the cloud, but it's moving up. So now expect it perhaps, I don't know when earnings are for Amazon. You should check on it. It could be any day now. I'm going to check on it as soon as I'm finished here, find out what the earnings date is. But barring earnings, because when earnings, I can't make predictions before earnings. I don't think anybody can. But look at these as being resistance, and then we've got the cloud. So there's a bunch of reasons technically why Amazon isn't going to move up too rapidly. And Google, still moving up as we expected. So tomorrow, the momentum by the oscillator tells us nothing, not up or down, because it's churning now for 4 days in the same area. This finishing off halfway between the top and the bottom, a little bit less than halfway, means that something happened during the day and the bulls got a little scared and the bears got a little empowered. And I would look for tomorrow a bit of a weakening day. Apparently retail buying is not what the people expected. It may not be around to hold up the economy. And the Fed, Bullard, gave a speech today and said that he saw no reason for any lowering of the borrowing rates for the rest of this year.